Liberal Viewer presents.
So I'm not really a football fan, so I don't really have an opinion about Denver Broncos quarterback Tim Tebow as a player, but as a Fox News political issue, I've gotten very familiar with Tim Tebow's outspoken Christianity and the many stories on Fox News claiming Tebow is persecuted for his outspoken Christianity, usually without any evidence to back them up, and that was definitely the case last week when Tim Tebow's winning streak came to an end and our friends at Fox used the occasion to create unnamed critics of Tebow, supposedly using the loss of a football game to argue against God's existence, as you can see already set up in the teaser for the upcoming story in this clip.
No mile-high miracle for Tim Tebow yesterday, leaving critics to wonder, does God not exist?
Oh, come on.
Comedian Brad Stein reacts to that suggestion when we come back.
And now, with a setup like that, you might expect to actually hear at some point at least one example of a Tim Tebow critic using his loss to argue that God doesn't exist, but evidence of such critics was just as lacking as the evidence for God's existence, as you can see in the introduction to the segment that followed from country singer Larry Gatlin guest hosting on Fox and Friends in this clip.
Well, it was a devastating loss for the Denver Broncos as the New England Patriots put on an end to their winning streak. Final score 41-23. So, will Tim Tebow's critics use this loss to try to say, see, God didn't exist, I told you, na-na-na-na-na-na. Joining us now from Nashville, comedian Brad Stein. Hey, Brad, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, brother, and let me tell you, God does exist. He came in the form of Jesus.
Now, my favorite part of that clip was actually at the end there when the conservative comedian Brad Stein somehow had to look down at his notes between saying God does exist and saying he came in the form of Jesus, but it was actually the continuation of that clip that may contain the worst anti-atheist spin of the segment when Brad Stein gave this alternate explanation for Tim Tebow's loss.
But here's what it tells us about God. He would have helped Tim win, except he got distracted when Kim Jong-il appeared at the pearly gates and he had to explain to him why he wasn't on the guest list.
Are you sure? You sure that's what
I'm
happened?
absolutely sure Kim didn't make it in. Yes, he was an atheist.
That's right. Kim Jong-il was one of the world's worst dictators, committing sins like kidnapping, bombing, gulags, and letting hundreds of thousands, if not millions, starve while he lived in luxury, yet the only reason the conservative comedian on Fox mentioned for Kim Jong-il not getting into heaven was his being an atheist, which isn't even really true given that Kim Jong-il was more like the head of a leader-worshipping cult, and in case you think that line from the conservative comedian was just a throwaway that slipped past the regular Fox and Friends hosts, none other than Fox News host Steve Doocy made sure to emphasize the point as breaking news at the end of the segment here.
Going to Steve Doocy. You got something for us over there, buddy?
I do. I hadn't actually thought about Kim Jong-il at the pearly gates until Brad brought that up. Good Fox News alert.
A good Fox News alert? More like just making up atheist critics of Tim Tebow along with just mentioning atheism as the reason Kim Jong-il didn't get into heaven combined together to qualify this Fox and Friends segment as the worst Fox News anti-atheist spin of the year. At least that's what I think, but I want to know what you think. Why does Fox News make up these attacks on Christianity while actually attacking atheists for their beliefs? And regarding the question that's the title of this video, does this Fox and Friends segment qualify as the worst Fox News anti-atheist spin of the year?
YouTube, you decide.